Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
This week's Torah portion talks about the daily offerings in the temple. The reason we have Shachris and Mincha every day is as substitute for the daily offerings. And the Torah says that every day in the temple, in the Bet HaMikdash, in the sanctuary, they should have two daily offerings, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And that corresponds today to Shachris and Mincha. As we know, the Arvit service is a voluntary service, but today it became mandatory because it's become the accepted practice. But the two biblical obligations was the morning and the afternoon offering. But when the Torah introduces the daily offerings that were brought in the temple, the Torah says, tell the Jewish people that they should give me at karbani lachmi, which means my daily bread sacrifices. Why is it called the daily bread? Because God is saying is, just like you need to eat to sustain yourself, you need breakfast, you need lunch, you need dinner, God needs his daily food. What's his daily food? The offerings. The offerings is karbani lachmi, my bread. Why is it like God's bread? Because why do you eat? You eat because you have a body and a soul, and in order to keep your body and your soul connected, attached to one another, so you stay alive, you have to eat food. Food is what gives you the nourishment to keep your soul in your body functioning. Well, God is the cosmic soul of the universe. The universe is the body, but God is the soul. What keeps God's life force, energy in the world? It's these daily offerings. It's God's bread. It's what sustains the world and allows God's life force to flow and pulsate through the universe through the daily offerings in the temple. But here's the interesting thing. What kind of offerings was it? Olah Tamid. It should be a daily elevation offering. Now, there were different types of offerings. There were offerings which the one who brought the offering was able to have a portion of the food. There were offerings that the Kohen got to eat a portion. But then there were offerings called the Olah. Olah means completely elevated, which means the entire sacrifice was for God. And what does this represent? There are different types of sacrifices. There are sacrifices in which we make sacrifices for others, but at the same time it's mutually beneficial for us. So sometimes you can think of a friendship. I make sacrifices for my friend, but I know he's there for me too. So it's not a complete sacrifice. But then there are certain actions and certain deeds that we do with completely altruistically. There's no personal gain whatsoever for yourself. It's like an olah, it's a complete elevation offering, entirely for the other person, with no desire or no goal of receiving anything in return. And the truth is that even the relationships that are normally considered mutually beneficial, like a husband and a wife, right? I make sacrifices for my wife, but she makes sacrifices for me. It's a two-way street. I benefit from the sacrifices I offer for your children, right? They give you pleasure, they give you nachas, they give you joy. But the ultimate goal is that even the relationships that we have that are mutually beneficial, we should achieve the levels, we say. That it should be purely for the sake of giving to the other person. And then the Torah takes it one step further. When should you make these offerings? Every morning and every evening. Once in the morning, once in the evening. What does that mean to say? There are times in our life when things are good, the sun is shining, life is good. It's easier to make sacrifices for others when you're happy, when things are positive, things are going well. But when things are difficult and you're struggling, you have your own problems, so to speak. It's the dark, it's the evening time in your life. And then you have to be able to make a sacrifice for another person. That's much more challenging. If someone's business is going great, they're making a lot of money, it's easy to give tzedakah. When I'm struggling myself and I still have to give charity, that's a much greater challenge. But the law is that even a poor person has to give charity. And every person in their life has wealthy times and poor times, not just in money, but in all areas of life. Sometimes we feel emotionally drained from our own problems. We don't have the energy to give to other people love or support or encouragement. But the Torah says that these sacrifices have to be made both in the morning and in the evening, in the bright times of your life and in the challenging, difficult times of your life. There's a story told about this elderly man whose wife unfortunately had dementia, and she was in a nursing home. And this man would travel every day. He would get up 5:30, get dressed in the summer, winter, or snow, whatever the weather was. He would get on 3 different buses and get to the nursing home. And he would get there in time for breakfast at 8:30, and he would sit with his wife and comb her hair and dress her and then feed her breakfast lovingly like a good husband. They were married 60 years. And one day there was a terrible snowstorm. And he got up with his boots and he went out in the snow and he took one bus and another bus. And finally, when he arrived, the nurses were shocked. This old man comes in this blizzard and this storm. And they said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Wait a minute, I came to take care of my wife, to feed her breakfast, to take care of her." And they said to him, Mr. Goldberg, you don't have to come in such terrible weather. We'll take care of your wife if she don't make it one day. You could stay home, we'll feed her, we'll dress her, we'll do everything for her. And then the nurse said, "Besides, she doesn't recognize you anyways." And the man looked at the nurse and said, "She may not recognize me, but I still recognize her."